It's really interesting. It's kind of funny that she's kind of the one that got the big head. She's a little sassy, she knows what she wants.
In a moment that caught millions off guard, Darci Lynne delivered a performance that erupted across social media within hours. Viewers who had followed her journey since childhood found themselves asking the same question: what just happened on that stage? The young star, once known almost exclusively for her sweet, comedic ventriloquism routines, stepped into a version of herself that few had ever seen: confident, intense, and emotionally charged. Fans across the country felt the shift immediately, describing the performance as unreal, unexpected, and something she's never dared to do before. Even longtime AGT viewers admitted they had to rewind the moment just to process it. And as reactions poured in, one thing became crystal clear: Darci Lynne wasn't just performing, she was transforming. But the real story behind this moment goes much deeper than a viral clip, and it begins long before she ever stood under the bright lights of AGT. But this unexpected transformation didn't appear out of thin air. Long before she stunned the nation, Darci Lynne was just a shy Oklahoma girl who loved to sing but couldn't find the courage to do it openly. Friends and family recall a child with a remarkable voice, soft, controlled, and overflowing with emotion, yet too nervous to share it outside her own room. That fear might have silenced her gift forever if not for a moment of inspiration at a local talent show. Seeing a ventriloquist on stage changed everything. For the first time, Darci saw a way to express her voice without feeling exposed. Ventriloquism didn't just give her a puppet, it gave her a shield. A safe stage to hide behind while her talent quietly grew stronger. It was an unusual path, but it was the only one she trusted. Still, no one knew this timid girl would become one of the most unforgettable contestants in AGT history. And soon, that hidden voice would be pushed into the brightest spotlight imaginable. The moment Darci Lynne walked onto the AGT stage in 2017, audiences expected something cute, maybe even charming. What they did not expect was a performance that would make the entire theater erupt. With her puppet Petunia in hand, Darci sang Summertime with a clarity and control that judges described as unbelievable. Mel B didn't hesitate for even a second before slamming the golden buzzer. Confetti poured from the ceiling and the world shifted for the 12-year-old. Within hours, her audition went viral, racking up millions of views and becoming one of the most replayed AGT clips ever uploaded. Reporters called her the prodigy nobody saw coming, while national headlines celebrated her overnight rise. But this extraordinary moment also created something else: expectations. And those expectations would follow her long after the show ended. Because winning AGT was only the beginning of a much more complicated journey. After her stunning victory, Darci Lynne entered a whirlpool of tours, interviews, and packed venues. Her cast of puppets, Petunia, Oscar, Edna, became household names, each character beloved for their humor and charm. She was a sensation, a family-friendly icon, and one of the most successful winners the show had ever produced. But behind the scenes, the pressure to remain that same smiling ventriloquist grew heavier with time. As Darci got older, her identity and ambitions began to shift. She wasn't just a kid anymore. She was an artist trying to grow in front of millions who still expected the exact same act. And with every performance, every tour, and every interview, she felt the weight of staying inside a role the world had chosen for her. And that pressure pushed her toward a decision no one expected. While fans continued cheering for her puppet-based performances, Darci quietly wrestled with a new truth. She wanted to sing, really sing, without the safety net she'd relied on for so long. In interviews, she hinted at feeling boxed in, a phrase that reporters noted repeatedly. She started writing original music, exploring themes of independence and identity. Yet every step toward change came with uncertainty. Would fans support her if she stepped away from ventriloquism? Could she truly rebuild her image in a world that knew her for one very specific talent? Darci's internal struggle intensified as her artistic voice grew louder. And while she kept most of these emotions private, they were building toward a moment that would soon erupt onto the world stage. And that moment arrived far sooner and far louder than anyone expected. When Darci Lynne walked onto the AGT stage for her latest appearance, fans expected the familiar: a puppet, a playful joke, and a powerful song delivered with her signature ventriloquist control. Instead, she stepped out empty-handed. No puppet, no character voice, just Darci, standing alone behind a microphone. The audience froze, whispering in confusion. Then the music began. What followed was a raw, emotional, fully solo performance that showcased a completely different side of her voice. Stronger, deeper, and fearless. The reaction was instant. Judges stared in shock. Fans online described the moment as chilling and the rebirth of her career. The clip went viral within hours, spreading across TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube as people tried to make sense of the transformation. Yet the most surprising reactions weren't from viewers, they were from the industry itself. As the viral clip gained momentum, industry insiders began paying attention. Music producers praised her tone. Vocal coaches analyzed her technique. Entertainment reporters noted that her solo performance carried the emotional depth of someone ready for a new chapter. Conversations that once labeled her a ventriloquist star suddenly shifted to rising singer. Some insiders even speculated that Darci could be preparing for a full-length album, pointing to recent interviews hinting at artistic freedom. For the first time in her career, she wasn't being talked about as a performer tied to a gimmick. She was being recognized as a standalone artist with growth, identity, and ambition. But recognition can also spark controversy. And soon, that controversy erupted into something impossible to ignore. As Darci's new performance spread nationwide, her fanbase reacted with intense emotion. Some longtime followers celebrated her bold evolution, calling it the moment she stepped into her true self. But others worried it signaled the end of her beloved puppet act. Comment sections filled with debates. Parents who introduced their kids to Darci years ago felt torn, excited for her growth, yet nostalgic for the innocence of her earlier routines. Younger fans voiced support, saying she deserved to break free from expectations. The divide grew louder with every hour the clip circulated online. Yet, through all the chatter, one thing was undeniable. Darci had everyone talking again, just like she did in 2017. And the momentum was only building. But the impact of this shift went far beyond her fanbase. Experts now say Darci is entering the most pivotal moment of her career. She can continue ventriloquism and remain a beloved family icon, or she can push forward as a solo singer and reshape her identity entirely. Both paths come with risks. Both come with rewards. But the courage she displayed during that viral performance suggests she's ready to take control of her artistic direction, no matter the uncertainty. Reporters note that she appears more confident, more self-aware, and more determined than ever before. And with an entirely new audience discovering her through her recent clip, the timing couldn't be more critical. which leads to the question everyone is now asking. Today, Darci Lynne stands on the edge of a new era, one shaped not by puppets or expectations, but by her own voice. Her viral performance didn't just surprise the nation, it revealed a young woman ready to evolve in ways that few child stars ever manage. Whether she chooses to blend ventriloquism with her new artistic direction, or step fully into the spotlight as a solo musician, one truth is undeniable. She has already proven she can adapt, rise, and reinvent herself when the world least expects it. And that combination, fearlessness, talent, and timing, is exactly what turns a performer into a legend. Because if this viral moment is only the beginning, then Darci Lynne's next chapter may be her most extraordinary yet.